Game Beard.
Hi friends, welcome to the Junk Runners introductory video, how to get into the game, like how to get into it. Well, first thing you want to do is you want to go to gamebeard.com and there's a Junk Runners page and then it's the front page, and then you just go there and and there's a download, and then you download the rules. So download the rules first and you can read through it. When you download the rules, there's not a lot of pages. There's some missions that you can look through. There's even some co-op missions. There's a couple co-op missions you can do if you don't have any friends to play with in your area right away. So you can kind of play through those and check them out. But you definitely want to print out the rule book. Also, there's going to be a collected data archive. And this is the lore and the fiction of the game. Now, there's not a lot of pages here. I think it's just the right amount to get you into the vibe of this post-apocalyptic game, right? So not too many pages, but I do plan to add to it in the future. Along with story elements and fiction. I have a very short story at the back, but I plan to continue that in a series eventually, right? So that's a lot of fun. You check that out. The next thing you want to do is you want to print out your character cards. So you're going to print out some character cards and your tokens and your unit cards. Now, when you print your character cards and your unit cards, you want to print them out on normal paper, just regular, good 8.5 by 11 paper. And then I recommend that you laminate them. Now, you want to laminate them. It looks really good. If you don't have a laminator, I highly recommend it. They're not that expensive. You can get an Amazon Basics laminator. Now, one thing you can do with your laminated unit cards is that you can use a dry erase marker, and you can bubble in your damage. And it has all your information there. It's nice. And then you can kind of like clean it up later. So that's great. If you don't have access or you don't want to get a laminator, you can just print them out and just bubble them in with a pencil and then just lightly erase it. That's definitely an option, and you can do that. Another thing you want to do is you want to print out your tokens, and I would print these on cardstock. So you print them out on cardstock and then you fold them over and glue them. But I mean, that's not the only way you have to do it. I mean, you could print them out on regular paper and glue them, like spray mount them onto cards, like not cardstock, like card or foam board even. So the question is, how many of these do you need to print out? How many of these pages do you need to print out? I recommend 3 sets of unit cards for each faction. So you begin the game with red and blue. So print out 3 unit cards for red, 3 pages of unit cards for blue, right? So 3 for red, blue. And then you can always print more. As far as character sheets go, I recommend you print out 2 of those. Even though they're individually named characters, they are archetypes for your characters. It's really for that special skill. And so they're kind of universal skills. So you want to print out 1 for each player. If you plan on having 3 or 4 players, which is totally fun, you should print out 4 sets, right? I've printed out 4 sets, but you can start with 2, right? And then as far as tokens go, each sheet of tokens has enough tokens for 2 units. So typically you might have 6 to 8 units on a side. So I would print out 6 to 8 token sheets on cardstock to begin with. You can always print more. You can always print as many as you want. So there you go. You can do that. Next we have loader units. You gotta print out your models. Now, you can watch the videos on how to build them on my YouTube channel, right? So my YouTube channel is GameBeard, and if you go to the home page or whatever, like the page for my YouTube channel, I have different playlists, and you want to find the build series, right? I recommend you start with number 1 of the build series, and that's the chassis. That's the chassis for the crab and mule. And you can watch that and you can build one or more. You got to build more. I recommend 6 crab chassis, that you make 6 of them, and then I recommend you make 2 mules to begin with for each team. So like 6 crab, 2 mule for red, 6 crab, and 2 mule for blue, right? As far as weapons go, I recommend that you build 3 lift claws, 2 for your crabs and 1 for your mule, right? So you start with 3. That's what I recommend. I also recommend 2 autocannons. 2 autocannons, 1 sniper, and 1 missile pod. Now, you can make as many of these as you like. The nice thing about the weapons is that they're like, I don't have one handy, well, they're like a generic gray, right? So they're a generic gray. So if I build a few extra snipers, it's fine, because you never know for which scenario or mission you may want to have more or less snipers. Usually, my playtesters and we favor autocannons because if you get a successful shot, you can fire again and you can remove an enemy in one turn, which is real nice. So I usually have some extra autocannons on hand. In fact, I think I need to build a couple more. Missile pods are nice too, and they're kind of easy to build. They're fun. So I leave it up to you. You can build as many as you like, but start with 3 lift claws, 2 autocannons, 1 sniper, and 1 missile pod. That's what I recommend, right? All right. Then, and then just let me bring up, if you're having a hard time building those kits, you can always do the easy build chassis, right? So I have them, let's see, in my build series, it's video number 12 for the easy build chassis, and then video number 19 for the easy build weapons. So if you're having a hard time building the actual models, start with the easier ones, get a couple games in, and then if you really enjoy it, I definitely recommend that you build the actual models. The easy build weapons aren't so great. They're really flat looking. I mean, they're easy, but they're flat. So give it a try. Take your time, try to build those weapons, and you'll do fine. You'll do fine. The first one may be a dud. Print another, and then just make it again, no problem. The next thing you want to do is buildings. You want to make some buildings. I recommend 2 large buildings and 2 small buildings, right? And I recommend 2 cars, 1 truck, and 1 diamond to build to start with. Also, I recommend 4 walls and 2 urban wedges. When you make your walls, I highly recommend that you build them with foam board. Like print out your walls on just regular printer paper, and then get spray ment. You want to do it outside because it'll kill you. You want to have plenty of ventilation, but you spray. It works really good, and you can spray it onto that foam board and then cut it out, and it's real nice. Normally foam board is, I believe, 1/4 of an inch, but I somehow was able to find, I believe it was 1/8 of an inch thickness, and it worked really good for those walls. So that's what I recommend, but 1/4 inch is okay. I mean, you can do whatever you want, right? But those walls look great mounted onto foam board. Finally, you definitely need to get like dice, 20-sided dice. You really only need like 2 But it's nice to have like 8 different colors so you can roll them when you're rolling for randomized cargo and buildings. But technically 2 is okay. Also, you need a tape measure. You need actually you need 2 tape measures. I mean, unless you just want to pass it around, you don't want to do that. You want 2 tape measures, and you could get like a string for center to center on your models. I have a laser level that like paints a red line. That's the best. That's where you want to start. You want to get those rules and just read through those rules, check it out, download and print your cards, tokens, and then start building some of those models. Start with the chassis, and that'll be build series video number 1. Take your time. You want to build a few of those. When you build these things, I recommend that you build them like all at the same time. So if you're going to build like 6 red crab chassis, just build all 6 at the same time. It might seem kind of boring, but in that kind of assembly line method, you save some time. It's a long process, so you're going to want to put on a podcast or a audiobook. That's what I do. And it really makes the time go by. It really makes it more enjoyable to do all those builds. So give it a try, and thanks for playing the game. I want to mention 2 more things. I have a Discord server if you have questions. So when you go to gamebeard.com, under Junk Runners, there's a news page. There's not a lot of news there yet, but it does say, hey, here's the Discord link. So you can find my Discord. You can just join it. Also, there's a Patreon link. You don't have to join Patreon to play the game. The game is free, but you do get those new models and missions early, 4 months early. So that's kind of nice. Give me a shout out if you are building your models on Discord. We can talk about it. So give it a try and have a lot of fun. Let me know, play some games, and I'll see you in the next video.